Hey, it's Paul from howtoplaybassdotcom. In this lesson I'm going to learn the second part of One Vision. We looked at the first part last week. You'll find that on my YouTube channel or on my website, part 1. In part 2 we're going to do something slightly different. I've dropped the Band in a Box backing tracks or sketch tracks to go with it because the sections that we're looking at in part 2, most of them are heavily syncopated with chords that occur on and beats, and Band in a Box kind of copes with that okay, but when you've got lots of it happening it just ends up sounding messy and distracting. So I've just done it against a metronome. If you correlate the parts with the actual track, you'll be able to work it all out and work out where everything goes. The one section I've not covered in this is there's a synth bass section around the 2 minutes 50 something like that mark of the version that I'm using. Basically John Deacon stops playing and there's a bass synth part. It's very much vamping on A. There's some D's and some C sharps and stuff in there as well. If you look at the, and if you're a Queen fan you should have this in your library, if you look at the Live at Wembley 1986 DVD, you'll see that John Deacon basically just plays some, kind of very simple 16th note with a bit of funky rhythm thrown in patterns, just really vamping on A, 5th fret of the E string. It's the main chord under that section. So you could do that. If you're playing it live, then check with your keyboard player, check with the guy who's arranging your version, see what they want you to play. But the rest of this lesson will cover the rest of the parts of the song that John plays on the record. Before we just jump into the first of those, which is under the guitar solo, if you're not a subscriber to my free monthly e-zine, click on the link underneath the website, underneath the video if you're watching on YouTube. Head over to my website, find the subscribe page, go subscribe. There's a sequence of PDF and video lessons that you get as a thank you for trusting me with your email address. Plus then there's a free monthly tutorial in video and PDF format. It's exclusive for subscribers, you can't see it anywhere else. Always song tutorials, always worth having, just cost the price of your email address. So go do that. The link's underneath the video to the website and you'll find the subscribe page. And when you've come back, we'll go on with the lesson and we'll look at the first part of the lesson, which in part 2 we're going to look at the guitar solo, which comes in around the 2 minutes 20 mark of the tune. The first section we're going to look at in part 2, it's a guitar solo with some vocals around it, just prior to chorus 3. It's around the 2 minutes 20 of the version I've got, which is on the Queen Greatest Hits. I'm going to play it with a metronome. Notice this starts with a slide from A here at the 12th fret on the 4th beat, and then we don't play on the 1st beat, so it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's go through that bar by bar. So the slide that's on beat 4 is from A, the 12th fret of the A string. No note on the downbeat. So if you remember the pattern from verse 1, from the verse, it sort of went. So we've got that pattern again with the C sharp and then the 2 Ds and the slide, but we're not playing that downbeat. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4. And the C sharp and the D, the 4th and the 5th fret of the A string, as per part 1. So after that, then it goes down to the, which is just B to C, 2nd and 3rd frets of the A string. It plays that C on the downbeat of the 3rd bar once, and then stops and doesn't play again for another bar and 3 beats. So the first 4 bars again, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're back in. And that pattern there that we've played, very similar to the verse patterns we looked at last week. D, C sharp, D, D. 2 Bs, 2 Cs, 2nd and 3rd frets of the A string. But then we've got another variation, so we've got to the C, 2, 3, 4. So what we've got is C, 2, 3, 4. So we've got, play that C, and then on the and beat 4 of that bar we've got a G, another G, 3rd fret of the E string, down to F natural, 1st fret of the E string, F natural again, then F natural again with a slide. The last kind of 2 beats, you don't really go anywhere, just kind of slide up, and then on the downbeat of the next 4 bars we've got the D again, that pattern again with 2 C sharps, 2 Ds, down, and then the last 2 bars we're playing this 2, 3, 4. And then you'd be into the chorus. So what you're playing is a stab on C, stab on G, that stabs on the and of the 2nd beat of that bar, another C on the 4th beat of that bar, C, 3rd fret of the A string, G, 3rd fret of the E string, and then the very last bar, which is 2 Gs, 3rd fret of the E string, 2 Fs, 1st fret of the E string, back to G, then up to D, 5th fret of the A string again, and then you'd be into the chorus. So that last 4 bars, 2, 3, 4. And listen through with the metronome playing at the start of this section, and that sets you up, that D sets you up nicely for the next chorus, which is chorus 3. Chorus 3 is essentially a 10-bar section. It's all in A pretty much, apart from the last couple of bars. I'll play it through the metronome and then we'll talk through it. 3, 4. Okay, so we've got some interesting little slides there. Let's deal with the first sections preceding that. First 3 bars, all identical to what you've played before, which is A, E, F sharp, E, A 5th fret of the E string, open E string, F sharp at the 2nd fret. So it plays that for 3 bars. Okay, then the 4th bar is a variation. What you're doing is you're playing A, E, F sharp, A. That A is held into the next bar, and then you've got the pattern resumes. Plays for 2 times. Then you've got the 1st bar with a slide. You've got, which is 2 A's, rest, 3 more A's, and then on the 3rd A, you'll slide up to the octave of A here, 17th fret of the E string, slide back to the A at the 5th fret of the E string, then you've got a bar of G's, then you've got D, immediately slide up to the octave of D, so 5th fret and 17th frets of the A string. So you've got 2 nice little slides there, and then the bass drops out and the drum pattern kind of changes, and there's the synthy bass section. That slide, or the 2 slides in there going up to the octave on the same string. Quick exercise you can do to practice that. Start off doing it in whole notes. We'll do it with D. And just do that over and over. And what that will do is it will kind of teach your hand how far you've got to travel up and down the neck to get from one D to the neck. Then you can do it in half notes when you get more proficient. 3, 4. And then when you get more proficient, you can do it in quarter notes. Etc. And you keep doing that. Do it on different strings, do it with different notes. It's a good way of being able to jump from low down to high up on on the bass if you're going to switch registers when you're playing. Flea does it a lot with the Chili Peppers. You can hear him doing it in a lot of his tunes. So it is something that's worth doing. That finishes chorus 3 though. Next section of the tune look at is the final chorus. Okay, the last chorus, based on very similar patterns to previous choruses, but when we get to the C, it starts to stretch out, and there's some really interesting little offbeat syncopations, as I talked about in the intro. Play with the metronome, and then we'll talk through it. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd be finished. Okay, first 4 bars are in A, very similar to patterns we've already covered. First bar is just 4 A's, 5th fret, 4 root notes, 5th fret of the E string, and then an open E. Second bar and the third bar, pattern we've covered before, A, E, F sharp, E, and again. Okay, fourth bar. So it's A, C. Then we're up to the bars in C. The first bar is this, which is 5 C's, then an open E, F, natural, 1st fret of the E string, and G, 3rd fret of the E string. 6th bar, which is 5 C's, G at the 3rd fret of the E string, A natural, or open A, back to C. 7th bar, 7 C's, and then we've got the start of this offbeat run. You've got 4 A's, but they start on the and of the 4th beat of the 7th bar. Then you've got 4 A sharps that start the and of beat 2 of the 8th bar. Then you've got 4 B's that start on the and of the 4th beat of the 8th bar. You've got 4 C naturals. They start on the and of the 2nd beat of the 9th bar. Then you've got 2 A's, 2 A sharps, 2 B's, 2 C's, C sharp, D. And that's all played across beats. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to dial down the tempo of the metronome so you can play it slowly and really hear it. I'm going to go from the 7th bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you hear how it goes. So take some time just working that out. So play through those syncopations slowly. It sounds great when you're playing it live with the band and everyone gets the offbeats right. Really drives the song forward to a really strong ending. So it isn't that tricky, but it just feels a bit weird at first because all the accents come on the and beats, and then they kind of double up. It's almost like it goes double time or half time. But it works really well, really drives the song towards its conclusion, and it isn't that difficult once you get your head around it. Pushes to a really powerful conclusion. So if you put those parts of the song together, along with part 1 that we looked at last week, you should be able to play through One Vision.